Well, first of all, apologies. It's been over 3 months since my last video, and yet in that time, I have still somehow managed to gain over 70 subscribers. Thank you. Now, my apologies to all of my subscribers, but in particular those 70 who have subscribed and never seen any new content from me. Well, that's about to change, but more on that later. So, why the long absence? Well, in October, real life stuff just started to take over, and hobbies such as my YouTube channel had to take a back seat for a while. I had a whole load of critical home projects to deal with, and then needed to dedicate some time to my family over the Christmas holiday period. But I didn't completely abandon my video creations, as over this period I did do a lot of historical research for what will be an introductory video into an upcoming Let's Play series of V for Victory Utah Beaches campaign game. So the title of this video says that it contains an important update. So let's talk about that before I move on to giving an update on my plans for upcoming videos. Now, you may or may not be aware that YouTube have just announced major changes to their rules for eligibility to monetize videos. That is, to have adverts play on your videos and to receive a small kickback from the advertising revenue. And I'll come back to this in a moment. First, a little background. Now, when I first started this channel back in October 2016, I was able to join what is called the YouTube Partner Program to monetize my videos from the get-go. However, in April 2017, YouTube introduced a new rule due to what they referred to as bad actors. Now, this new rule meant that a channel had to have at least 10,000 views to be eligible for monetization. Now, at the time, I had around, 7,500 views, and so suddenly my monetization was cut off. Not a big deal, as I was barely making $2 to $3 per month anyway. Then around 2 months later, I hit the magical 10,000 views mark and was accepted back into the YouTube Partner Program and could monetize my videos again. Since then, everything was going fine, with steady growth of my channel meaning that I am now making around $5 to $8 per month. Still not a great amount, I appreciate. Now, I say make, but in reality I've received nothing yet, as the minimum payout from YouTube is $100, while I have only earned around $55 in total to date. But I was quite excited to think that 2018 would be the first year that I receive a $100 check from YouTube. But no, with the latest change that YouTube just announced on 16th of January, it could now be years before I get any payout. What have they done? Well, now they've introduced 2 new criterion to be eligible for the YouTube Partner Program and monetization. Now, these are that your channel must have had 4,000 hours of watch time in the past 12 months, and that your channel has 1,000 subscribers. To put this into context, my channel had just under 2,000 hours of watch time in the 12 months to when I posted my last video, and I only have 290 subscribers. So I'm a long way off from both of those criterion. Now, the new rules come into force on the 20th of February, and there is no way that I will meet their new criterion by then. So as of 20th of February, my videos will all become ad-free and I will earn no ad revenue from them. Plus the $55 to $60 that I have earned to that date will, I guess, stay in limbo, and it may be years before I ever receive anything from YouTube. Now, as expected, there are widely differing opinions regarding this change, with some saying it is a good thing as it will be more effective at weeding out the bad actors, others saying it will simply motivate them to try harder to reach these new criterion, while others are just simply angry and venting their anger and frustration online. Now, there are plenty of videos on YouTube on this subject, so check them out if you're interested. But if you want to read more about this change, then check out the link to the YouTube page that I'll post in the video description below. As for me, at first I was angry. Although I have only been earning a small amount each month, it was nevertheless a motivation to continue, knowing that in the not too distant future I would receive some money for all of my hard work. But then I calmed down and acknowledged that the only realistic way forward for me, seeing as I really enjoy making these videos and connecting with you folks, was to carry on, try harder, and importantly, to find another way to monetize my videos. To this end, I have bitten the bullet, signed up with Patreon, and created a Patreon page with various reward levels and financial goals. Now, if you're not familiar with Patreon, then yeah, have a Google around and find out what it's all about. Or better still, check out my Patreon page. And this can be easily accessed from my YouTube channel homepage by clicking on the Support Ikrananka on Patreon link in the banner at the top of the page. And I will also provide a link in all of my future video descriptions, as well as the video description to this video. Now, please check this out, and as you'll see, any money that I do receive from Patreon will be directly used to purchase software and hardware that we use to improve the quality of the videos that I make. I will also share with my patrons exclusive glimpses of my plans for future videos. Plus, you'll get the opportunity to directly influence or select games that I cover on the channel, depending on the reward level that you select. Now, as an example, I will share with patrons my plans for my upcoming B-17 Squadron Commander game. Now, I'm going to take a very different approach to this, and I believe it has never been done on YouTube before. So if you want to find out what that is beforehand, then please sign up on my Patreon page. The rewards start at just $1 per month. So enough about Patreon. Let's move on and start talking about the videos that I will be producing for my channel in the near future. Now, the first up will be a continuation of the B-17 Getting Started series. Now, the observant among you may have noticed that in my list of videos for this series, I had planned on doing a video covering management of the loss of engines, and after that I was going to just play one of the historical missions in the game to kind of demonstrate everything that I'd covered, everything we'd learnt through this Getting Started tutorial series. Now, I've actually decided to drop both of those videos. Firstly, because I think there will be kind of less demand for those. And so managing loss of engines is very case specific. For instance, it's not just about managing how to continue to fly a B-17 once you've lost one or more of the engines, but it's also about the condition of the aircraft as a whole. So what damage that aircraft or the B-17 has taken. So it would be impossible for me to really cover all of the possible scenarios that you might end up finding yourself in there. So really, at the end of the day, for managing a B-17 with lost engines, you've really got to try and figure that out for yourself, i.e. using your cockpit controls and your trim controls. Your trim controls really are the best hope you have of getting control of a B-17 in that situation. Now, I'm going to drop the historical mission because I'm going to cover a lot of what we've learned in these tutorials as I go through my campaign game that I'm going to be doing in the near future. So I'm going to skip that historical mission one, and that allows me therefore to move straight on to what has been a video that has been requested by a number of people asking about when am I going to get to it. So the next video in the B-17 Getting Started series will be covering the mods that I recommend that you apply to the game and also how to install them. So I'm going to go through that process there. And that means there will only be one other B-17 Getting Started video, and that will be looking at the R&R file and the realism project, and we'll talk about those in that video. And that will wrap up the B-17 Getting Started series, and I can move on to what I think is going to be a fairly unique Squadron Commander game. Next up, we're going to continue on with our look at the V for Victory game by Atomic Games. And I'm actually going to kick that off but next with a Utah Beach campaign game, and I've been doing a lot of research for that. I'm already about 3/4 of the way through preparing a video which will be an introduction to that campaign game. And I also haven't forgotten that I haven't finished the Atomic Games Legacy videos, and the Atomic Games Legacy video part 2 will be coming up, but I want to get the Utah Beach campaign game kicked off. Because once I've got a Let's Play going on that, that's a fairly easy one to keep putting out regularly, to keep feeding to the channel, and then I can work on the Atomic Games Legacy in the background, because that's a bit of more of a longer term research video that I need to do there. I also haven't forgotten my viewers who are looking for more ColecoVision games, and yes, I am still intending to continue on with my Opcode Prototypes video series, and that will continue next with the Bokosuka Wars prototype game. I don't know exactly when I'm going to get to that yet, so I'm not going to make any promises, but that is still in the works. It will be coming. And finally, I'm actually going to introduce a brand new game to my channel, and that is a game called Strategic Command World War II War in Europe. And this is a superb high-level strategic hex-based war game. I love this game. I think it's great. Yeah, it's not necessarily the most realistic in terms of the way the gameplay operates, but it's great fun. And so another thing I've been doing during this break is I've actually been playing around with this game, reading the manual, learning how to play it. And I've already completed offline a campaign game just to get familiar with it. But what I'm most excited about is that I've lined up an online game against a human opponent. So I'm actually going to put this up on the channel. And what we'll be able to see is we'll be able to see my human opponent's moves. And then I will make my moves. And so each episode that I'm going to put up on the channel will only be one turn. So it'll be my opponent's moves followed by my moves. And then there will be a delay until I receive my opponent's moves back again. So I don't know how this is going to work, how long it's going to take between moves. Hopefully we'll be able to kind of keep it going day by day. But we'll just have to wait and see. But I'm very excited about this. I've played the game against the AI. And with all AIs in war games, it has its issues, it has its weaknesses. And once you kind of figure those out, it's actually fairly predictable and you can work your way around it to more or less always succeed. But playing against a human, it's always unpredictable. So it's going to be very interesting. So I hope you check that out. Please stay tuned for that and let me know what you think. Anyway, that's it, folks. I'm going to wrap up this update here. I really do hope that you'll check out my Patreon page. And please consider signing up for one of the rewards there. If I can get some patrons, it will be a huge motivation for me to continue to grow this channel and hopefully improve the quality of the work that I'm doing. Anyway, thank you for watching this, folks. Take care. Bye-bye.